Well, there's coffee now available, which is always good. Ooh la la, the coffee. And we are live. With coffee.
With coffee.
With coffee. This is coffee. This is really hot coffee. Do you want this coffee? And I'll drink the super hot coffee?
Is it cold coffee?
No, it's warm.
Thank you.
Yeah, coffee. Good morning, everybody. Happy Sunday. Happy Devil's Night.
Morning, fellow bean lovers.
It is October 30th.
Tomorrow is Halloween.
It is Devil's Night. Devil's Day, because it's not nighttime.
You know, us witches really don't like that term.
Is it dependent on time zones? Because it wouldn't be Devil's Night for everybody, because some people it's still daytime. Like for us.
I think Devil's Night is at different times for everybody.
I don't think it's a time, I think it's a day. So I think Devil's Day
Well, it's
is
not
Devil's
day.
Night.
It's Devil's Night. So
Does it
every
only
day.
apply to nighttime?
Does that mean like it comes early for Australians?
So that means you can't destroy property and set fire to things during the day? Only at night?
Oh my god.
I mean, I understand, like, the cover of darkness and all that. Good morning, Emily. Good morning, Queen. How are you?
Welcome to
Good morning, Wrath.
Welcome to the Devil's Talk, man.
Welcome to the Devil's Talk of the Devil's Night, apparently. I am
What's
by no means encouraging anyone to commit vandalism or anything
I am.
like
I
that.
don't know if I
Do it. Do it.
Also, please don't egg my house.
Egg somebody else's house.
Don't soak my windows.
Soak my window.
And, good morning, Devane. How are you?
Egg is hard to get off.
Happy Sunday. Oh, I can't believe it's like literally like almost Halloween. Like I've been saying that for like weeks, but like tomorrow is Halloween. It's crazy. You have remind me to talk to you and text your friend Evelyn back.
Yeah, I love how they just like because we were on call together and they were like, you know, I'm just gonna text your dad because my dad's not texting yours and it's getting to be an issue.
Yep, that was basically how that went. And
So the children took care of it.
They sent me a text last night. They're thinking about meeting here at 6 o'clock.
I know I was on call with them.
But I'm going to aim for closer to 5:30 is what I'm going to tell them. That way we can get over to where we're going by like 6 and we can get back at a decent time. Now, are they getting picked up here? Or are their parents going with us?
I don't know. I have to ask. Well, what do you mean with us?
Are they going? The parents going trick-or-treating too?
Yeah. Well,
As
I don't know
well?
about the parents, but the child.
Well, I know the child is, but was the parents dropping the child
I
off?
think we have to like discuss that. Like, when
Are
they're
they
there.
walking from house to house with us? Like, what is going on?
Well, I don't know about the parents. but
Yeah,
the
it's the
child-
parents is what I'm
I don't know
wondering
the
about.
parents.
Obviously, the child
Well,
is.
the parent. Ask the parent.
I will.
Ask the parent. Anyway, hello, whoever just joined. I can't read the chat.
Happy Sunday and happy Devil's Night. Indeed. Indeed. Indubitably.
That's a fun word.
I went to bed at like 3 o'clock in the morning.
Dad, did you look at the video I sent you?
Probably
This
not.
one, it's about how $2 pumpkin spice
Yes,
latte.
I did. I watched
Yeah.
that. From Starbucks. Yeah, make your own. They're just adding the. It's a hack. It's
a
a
life
it's a
hack.
pumpkin spice latte from Starbucks hack,
Yeah, for $2.
which is pretty cool, as
better than
opposed to like
$6.
$6, which is not cool.
That's not
Happy Halloween, leader. Happy early Halloween. Happy Devil's Night.
You should try
Happy Hallows Eve.
Ooh, chit-chat.
Yeah, I was also awake pretty late in the dark hours last night. Was still trying to take care of some work things that I wasn't able to take care of on Friday before I left, but that's work stuff. But it had to be taken care of. Did some work on the channel, some narrating, some editing, everything I was supposed to do Friday. Because Friday when I got home, I sat down and played Bayonetta 3 until like 2:30 in the morning. Felt really good to sit down and just play a video game for like hours on end. Haven't done that in a while. So yeah, spent my Friday with Bayonetta 3, and then Saturday was working on the channel basically right up until I was doing acting and uploading until like 11 o'clock. And I watched a couple horror movies with Pockets. And then at 1 o'clock I went in the game room and played some more Bayonetta until my fingers and my eyeballs just could not keep up with each other anymore. Good morning, dog lover. How are you?
Yes, he was snoring very loudly.
I got another piece of glass stuff.
I don't know how glass got
Voice chat, yeah, that's cool. VC. We did that the weekend before this one. We did some voice calling and hanging out with each other on Discord and watched some horror movies. It was fun. I had fun. So, had to run out today, go get caffeine, because there was no caffeine in the house. Don't ask me how that happened. No, it don't. You don't have to be sorry.
I should know. I should have grabbed it yesterday and I didn't.
Okay. Let the record show, I am not blaming Pockets. I went out today and grabbed some caffeine because it was needed. Wow, that's still really hot. Ouch.
Sip.
Cozy beans.
Well, I suppose that's the only sip that'll hurt now that my taste buds have been melted off.
But it's also the only one that will
Technically,
taste.
you only scald your taste buds. If you burn your taste buds, you will not get those taste buds back.
Okay. Well, it's been a same
That's
for
probably why
years.
hot wings don't affect them unless they're like Majas.
I want.
I went to a Halloween bar last night called Cocktails and Screams.
Oh my god, that's amazing.
That does sound amazing.
That sounds fun.
I would
sounds
I would
like a
so get all
screaming
dressed
good
up and
time.
go. That would be great.
So fun, you'll die.
Cocktails and Screams. That's freaking cool.
Small tycoon.
I used to do that when I was hanging out in Halstead before I met Pockets.
Go to spooky bars.
Yeah, well, I used to go to the bar on Halloween.
Be spooky.
Everybody was dressed up.
That's amazing.
One time, one year I dressed up as a girl
You told me.
and
You haven't told
won
them.
won money, which I used to buy more beer.
Truly a good investment.
It was. Well, if I was at the bar, I mean, it was a good investment. But yeah, it was fun. I used to do that every single year. One year I ended up going as Jason, like the mannequin zombie Jason that I have standing in the corner of my game room. The one with the chain hanging around his neck and his clothes are all rotted and the bones are showing through. One year I went as that. A couple years I went on my stilts. Like one year I went as the Grim Reaper, and another year I ended up going as like this red-faced demon with these huge like red claws. But I would wear my drywall stilts, so I'd be like 8.5 feet tall.
Make us the candy.
Oh man! Sometimes I'd go trick or treating like that. Actually, I like walk down the street and up people's steps and stuff like that. And oh my God, you're trick or treating in stilts?
You could walk on my
I
roof.
had to
I'd
wear.
terrify children.
I
It was
had to
great.
wear my hoodie, my Freddy hoodie, with my hat, and like drop down my voice to a little kid voice, just to do that. And I can see him trying to look through the hoodie to see like if I'm an older person or not.
What?
Shouldn't matter. Maybe I'm a young person with a deep voice. Don't judge.
You can't see me, so I sound like a little kid.
Eva's really tall. If you're tall, you typically are like, no. You get suffering. That's all you get. 2 plus 2
That's
is not
cool.
equal 5.
I want the shuriken, the shuriken from Jeepers Creepers, the one that's like all made out of bone and shit. It's great. And if I didn't say it before, good morning, Pimp Demon. I did see you come in. I don't know if I said it or not though.
Can somebody please
no.
confirm that 2 plus 2
saying
is
it is.
not... sorry, not 4. 2 plus 2 is not 5?
Let me
Yes,
consult.
back to basic math.
Hold on, I'll send an email to NASA and see if I can get confirmation.
Well, I'm confused because, like, for whatever reason, this
All
game...
the time.
This game was like, put block number 2 and block number 2 together and you get 5.
Did your mom ever
I'm
do
not
that?
even joking. Look at this. Look at this, okay? You take this block. 1 second. I'm trying
Apparently,
to
I'm looking at blocks.
Okay, see, two.
You can't.
5.
Yeah.
What is this? What is this?
Well, apparently in Roblox world, 2 and 2
5
is
plus
5.
5 is 9. Why is 5 plus 5 9?
I had a drink called Neurotoxin, which had bullet whiskey and strawberry rum along with other ingredients, just called spider venom. It was
Spider.
great. Dude, that does sound yummy. Sounds like you went to a really fun place. Glad you've been enjoying the season. That's awesome. It's always nice to like hear what people are doing and hear that they're like, you know, out having
Fun too?
spooky fun.
Joyous.
Exactly.
These are fun. Okay, time to find out what 15 plus 15 is.
After this, Shiloh was yelling at me
26.
yesterday because we haven't watched any Halloween movies. We haven't watched any Halloween movies, but that's why I told her after Blood and Beans today is Michael Myers Marathon.
Yeah, whoop whoop, spook spook.
Now, I would save the original Halloween for tomorrow night, but because it's a work night and the premiere's at 11 o'clock, I'm probably only going to be able to get one movie in, or 10 o'clock. The premiere's at 10 o'clock, but it's going to go to about 11 before I have to go to bed. So we're going to do Trick or Treat for tomorrow, and we'll watch the Halloween movies today. I think that's a good idea.
It's an amazing idea.
Well, we usually watch the first Halloween and Trick or Treat on Halloween night. You usually save the first one. No, I have not watched the first Halloween at all this month.
Oh,
At
also,
all. Or part 2.
26 plus 26 is 40,
Watch the
43.
third one.
Now? Sorry, I just wanted
We did watch the third one, but the third one isn't a Michael Myers movie. That one I kind of don't watch, obviously, in line with the rest of the series because it doesn't really have to be part 3. It's kind of its own thing. So I actually have that on VHS, like the box and everything. I still have the sleeve for it. But I have a VCR in the game room that's hooked up to a CRT television. So one night I went in there and turned on all the black lights and stuff and made it kind of like 80s cool, creepy back there, and through Halloween 3 in the VCR, and we watched it on the old CRT, and that was awesome.
It was spooky! Raise a capybara, yes please. Update.
No, actually, a nuke technically would not work.
Stop it.
I'm sure you've listened to like the rest of the series too, as to why they can't be killed and stuff like that. There's all kinds of little drops in there. No, a nuclear bomb really wouldn't work. In fact, the land itself would just keep spawning them.
And also, we wouldn't want nuclear winter.
So don't think so. If anything, it would disperse it and make it spread. But, as we all know, the curse on Locust Lake has been lifted. It has been for a very long time. Well, until the new season of Confronting Evil came along and Seth went there and did some things. And now, well, I would say there is a distinct possibility, but tomorrow's video has been revealed as Locust Lake, the Curse Returns. So, kind of a spoiler right there, right in the name. But I wanted everybody to know exactly what this story is.
There's a cat on me.
There's a kitten on
There's a
you.
kitten on me. She's adorable. Her ears are wobbling. I'm raising a capybara.
Like,
Yeah, I've tried all those things.
Simulated.
Mountain Dew's like my jam.
What are you gonna do once you're done with all that?
See, Devane, you're like me. You have your traditions. Usually for me, it's the first 2. If it's on a weekend, I'll watch the first 2 Halloween movies and Trick or Treat. because the first one and the second one, more of the night he came home. It's just a continuation of the first movie. And then I'll watch Trick or Treat. But because it calls on a Monday this year and things are kind of crammed real close together, we'll just have to watch Trick or Treat tomorrow after Trick or Treating and before the premiere. I have not seen it yet, no. I heard it's pretty good, though.
Jorge, how do I feed you?
Werewolf by Night is what I'm referring to.
I'm raising a capybara.
You know, they thought they were extinct.
Night of the Demons is another great movie. Oh, it's a good movie. Huh?
Oh, she said she's raising a capybara. For years, we thought they were extinct until they found a little colony of them in Australia about 15 years ago. They're now on the endangered species list.
Wow, Halloween is that close for you? Yay, time zones. See? It's an hour away. Like, he's like stepping into Halloween as we speak.
Yeah, I don't have my third right at the block.
That's cool. I mean, the Resident Evil movies aren't...
I like that.
They're good. They're
I
not
like
great.
them.
Like, I was gonna say, they're not my cup of tea per se.
I like them.
The first one's not too bad. I wouldn't really consider them like... they're
I like the first.
it's like
one,
action horror.
and I like the second.
It's like a
one.
new subgenre. It's
Because-
action horror.
Well, I like the second one because they took the guy from the first one, and they showed like the transformation and all that, and like he looked at her and then like at the end and when it clicked, and he's like, yeah.
But yeah, it was pretty good. I like the first one. The first one's not too bad. And the second one even really, again, I'm with pockets on this. The second one's not that bad either. I didn't like the third one. I liked the last one that they did. That was actually way better than I thought it was going to be.
It was very good.
See, the first two Resident Evil movies, they're pretty good.
See, I like the actress whose name is Mia something I can't pronounce because it's like Polish or something. It's very long. But I've liked her since I watched The Fifth Element.
I have seen Waxwork. I haven't seen it in a really long time.
Waxwork's
But yeah,
good.
I've seen Waxwork.
That's an old It's like the original.
I mean, I guess it kind of does.
I'd like to find Creature of the
I like
Dyson Mood.
the way your trilogy of movies works there.
I like creature features.
I know you do. I like creature features.
No, I want to, because I want to watch like Creature of the Black Lagoon. I can never find it. And
It's
I
not
don't want the black and white
War of
version.
the Worlds. That's cool. Orson Welles' performance of War of the Worlds. That
Oh
sounds.
my god, I love that.
That sounds awesome.
I love that. I also stole that cassette from the library in middle school
Ah,
because I love the story so much.
what have I said about admitting these
Well,
things?
Again, the possibilities never really, Pimp Demon, in regards to your question, has never been discussed by me and Doughboy, but in my mind, it wouldn't really get rid of anything. It would just disperse it. You can change energy, but you can't destroy it. If anything, it would disperse, go elsewhere, and who knows if there was another planet where humans colonized or something along those lines. Just like the way meteors move through space. It could seed. It might take a long time, but it would seed. And you would get Jacob Treagle and Casper Stoical everywhere, not just one little spot on planet Earth.
It was a bus stop, it was a helicopter.
Whatever.
Locust Lake: The Curse Returns is a prequel to Locust Lake in Space. If you ever have question on the chronology of the stories, like where they fall timeline-wise, if you go to the playlist on my channel, it has all the stories in there in chronological order. And I do have it set before Locust Lake in Space.
Write it down.
No, this is more directly linked to Confronting Evil, which is current timeline.
Write it on here.
Exactly. if there is a sequel to Locust Lake in space, it's going to be called Beyond Locust Lake. Anything beyond series is going to typically end up being in that far future timeline. Because I know that Doughboy is writing a sequel to Locust Lake in space.
Locust Lake in space. Locust.
So eventually, I believe there will be a sequel to Locust Lake in space. In fact, we've discussed it, and we've already got a trilogy of stories in mind. So 2 more that will lead someplace where we're bringing it. So
Thank you. It's underneath something.
it's underneath the chair.
It's funky. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, chat. Thank you very much.
Cool. Didn't knock anything out. That's good.
Eve said that their dad's going with us.
Gonna go trick or treating with us.
Yeah.
Yeah, he knows we're gonna be in costume and going door to door. And
Probably, yeah.
We should let
I don't
them
think
know.
he knows that he's candying. That we're candying.
okay.
You're only out here by yourself.
Thank you so much for your order. We really appreciate it. It's on the card.
Sorry, kittens are funny. And apparently, I'm going trick or treating with an adult tomorrow that I've never met.
He's trick-or-treating with like a grandpa-aged man. He's like 50 something.
It don't matter. Yeah, he's gonna be older than whatever. I'm going trick or treating tomorrow with an adult who has never met me before. So this will be interesting for him, for sure.
Well, it's gonna be a great bonding experience. Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, and best of all, Merry Halloween. Joyous Halloween.
Locust Lake in space, that story, like most of the stories that we're going to be writing Locust Lake concerned are going to take place before that. That was mostly meant to be like a capstone. To be, no matter what happens, Locust Lake will always be there. Locust Lake will always live on. Even once the Earth is destroyed, Locust Lake will live on. That's kind of the whole point of the story. So, I mean, there will be sequels and stuff to it, but the whole point to it really wasn't to have sequels to that future's storyline. It was more just to be, you know, that end capstone on the series. Something fun. And again, at that point, I wasn't even teasing that Locust Lake was going to come back. The curse ended when Seth Mackenzie and Shiloh lifted the curse, and with the help of like Icarus and Gunner, but the whole big, you know, blowout at the end of the series. And that was supposed to be it. The curse was done. Then we've had Confronting Evil for the past year with no new Locust Lakes except for prequels, the Obituary Killer story, which it takes place at Locust Lake, but has nothing to do with the curse or the supernatural killers or anything like that. It just happens to take place at Locust Lake, and the killer wears his mask has to do with the people that died there, which is actually really cool. I really like that idea. Props Doughboy. And then obviously that future one, just to be something fun for everybody this past summer, and kind of just tighten that bit at the end. But yeah, the intention was always to bring Locust Lake back. Even last year when I ended it, everyone said, "Are you going to bring back Locust Lake?" And I said, the chances of that happening are the same as the chances of me planning out Halloween next year. Planning everything out in over a year in advance. Same chances as that. And that was an inside joke to myself because I was planning things out over a year in advance. That was exactly what I was saying. The whole point was for Confronting Evil to go to where it did and end where it did. Then when season 2 came back, when Seth went to go retrieve his sister, he was always going to do it at Locust Lake and bring back Locust Lake. Not really bring it back, but leave the door open basically. Yes, the Locust Lake verse is expanding. It's something Doughboy and I have been joking around about a little bit. Everything that we've planned, the both of us, phone call. Hold on.
Every time they lay down the phone.
Phone.
We've actually been joking around about this. We've planned out things in advance and expanded things with more thought given to the future than Disney has with Star Wars. But yes, we are very much expanding out the Locust Lake verse. We've already tied it in with Icarus. In fact, that again was something that was planned way in advance. If you go and listen to the Icarus stories, one of the reoccurring characters is Commander Todd. Commander Todd was always Todd Jacobs, the guy that was supposedly executed for the Locust Lake murders. The book, the pages of the book that Mackenzie and Seth are gathering are pages of the Dreamscape book. So the Dreamscape book takes place. And again, that was always planned because in Doughboy's very first Dreamscape series, some of the dreams and bubbles that the main character was seeing, the visions he was seeing, were of masked monsters by lakes and supernatural. Those were images of Locust Lake. They were always supposed to be intertwined. And with Seth and Mackenzie, obviously Confronting Evil being a direct spin-off of Locust Lake, with them going to places like the Devil's Punch Bowl, which is also in Susquehanna County, right next to Locust Lake, or going after the Popelik Creek monster and meeting Tim from the monster of Popelik Creek. It starts tying now all the stories on my channel in together into one giant universe. And this is all, again, very intentional. It helps to get everything unified, and once everything is, you can really play with it and do some things. And for people that know my channel well, all these little nods and Easter eggs and stuff serves as, fanfare. I'm not a big critic of fan service. I don't see an issue with giving fans what they want. So I think when they hear about a reference to a character or a place in a story that they heard and enjoyed 6 years ago, is now, oh wow, we're going back there. So like Confronting Evil Season 1 Episode 1 is like the Devil's Punch Bowl Part 2. In a way, it actually is. And it just makes for some really fun writing opportunities. Take it easy, Manny. Have a fantastic day. Sorry I've been talking, not reading the chat. Lucas Jimenez, also, have a fantastic day. And, yeah, in a way, Locust Lake is a bit like Star Wars or Marvel. It's the flagship story series on my channel. And it's being expanded out in, yes, a very Marvel-verse kind of way. I know Doughboy and I have a lot of plans for Locust Lake moving forward. We've got a lot of plans for Confronting Evil. I think we're outlined all the way into Season 3. A lot of good stuff definitely coming down the pipeline. And got something really cool on a separate note. I have something very cool, I'm very proud of it, planned for December for this year's Christmas special. I don't want to say too much, except that it's likely going to be very long, probably close to maybe a 2-hour mark, and it's going to feature many different voice actors. It's quite the production. And I can't wait to bring it all to you. I don't want to say any more than that, but it's it's going to be interesting. So I do have a lot of cool things on the way. But yeah, back to Locust Lake. Thank you Pimp Demon for saying that it is a good series, great series. Back to Locust Lake. The story tomorrow is, I know Confronting Evil is a direct spin-off of Locust Lake, and it does have a lot of elements, right? It's a lot of character dialogue. There's usually quite a few kills in it, but it is structured very differently than Locust Lake. Locust Lake is a slasher film, on paper. It's a slasher film story. That's what it's always kind of been. And Confronting Evil is more like television show, episodic. Much more thought giving to future installments than Locust Lake is. Locust Lake is more standalone stories. I know Doughboy wrote it with me, but I can't speak for him. But I know for me, I probably could speak for him as well. Writing a Locust Lake story, writing the characters, writing the kills, felt so good to go back and do that again. Structured very differently than a Confronting Evil, and I think once this comes back tomorrow, for those of you that, are also watching Confronting Evil and stuff, and it might have been a while since we've been to, like, Locust Lake for a true blue Locust Lake story, I think you're going to see, like, a real difference between the two. Like, Confronting Evil's good, and it's always felt a little bit like Locust Lake, but this is going to be like, okay, no, this is, yeah. I hope it does. Confronting Evil should feel like Supernatural. It should feel like Supernatural mixed with Locust Lake.
Super Lake.
It's very much an homage to Supernatural. My family, my children grew up on Supernatural. It was on for 15 years, and I watched every single episode. I was a fan before there were fans. Before all those crazy Supernatural fans, I was just somebody that was like, yeah, no, I love this show.
And now I know a shitload about it.
When it ended, when the series ended, it kind of left a hole. Like, I need this show in my life, and I'd like to see more of it. Confronting Evil, in a way, is for me. I like to listen to the next episode. And that was very much also Doughboy's idea. It's why he wrote in Seth and Mackenzie. It's why he created the characters, because it was always his intention to have them do like a Sam and Dean type thing. But once the show ended, I said, yeah, we should definitely like do this. Let's get Locust Lake done. We'll do a summer of Locust Lake and do all the Locust Lake stories. So this coming October, we can start Confronting Evil. Because once we started writing for it and stuff, it got, I don't know, I liked it. Like, the stories were coming out great, and I got really excited for it. Like, I don't want to wait on this anymore. And all that I had to keep secret. Couldn't tell anybody anything that was going on. And it was fun. And the way it's come out is, it is very much like Supernatural, and that's the point. That's why they drive a car. It's not black Impala. It's dark teal Ford Torino, which looks very, very similar to a black Impala. Seth is very much like Sam, with a few differences that are swapped, and Mackenzie is very much like Dean, a female Dean, and again with a couple of characteristics swapped. And just that dynamic, doing a gender swap on one of the characters, has just made for some really fun scenes. And making them twins, I think, I don't know. I do like where the story is, I like where it's going, and it very much is supposed to be an homage to Supernatural. So I will take that as a compliment. You definitely should. I mean, Confronting Evil Season 2 started October 1st, so the first episode for Season 2 is up and available. Wrath. Locust Natural. I mean, that's kind of what Supernatural, or what Confronting Evil is Locust Natural. But I also wanted a way to tie everything together on my channel. make most, or if I can, maybe even basically all of the stories take place in the same universe. I just think helps kind of look at everything a little bit different. Especially like the Halstead, Susquehanna County area, because Doughboy and I use that for like our Derry, Maine. So like making all those stories connected into one universe. Again, it's fun and opens up a lot of pathways for where the writing could go. Something along those lines, I could imagine. I do have a episode, not the next one, I think it's the one after that. I think episode 7, because I've written up to episode 3. Doughboy has written episode 4. I have to write 5, 7, and 9, and half of 10. And then Doughboy writes the rest. So I do have to get going on 5. I have a pretty fun idea for episode 7, though, I'll say that. Not sure. I do use, have narrowed in on a specific music track for introducing Confronting Evils, which is not the same music track I use for introducing other stories. I wouldn't really call that a theme song, though. If I had to pick one, though, I would say something from White Bat Audio. Yeah, I figured you would like that. Doughboy wrote episode 4, and he also had a really good idea for it. And I don't want to say any more than that, but that one I believe should be coming out in January. It's running from October through June, which is only 9 months. So I do need to figure out what's going where and when. Episode 2 is basically done. I'd have to do a little bit more editing on it. I edited another story this weekend because it was quicker. And I wanted to have my weekend a little bit to myself this weekend. I will be finishing up Confronting Evil Season 2, Episode 2 this week. And even though that other story is done, it's not going first. So the first Saturday in October is going to end up being a reboot. And then the second Saturday in November, I don't know why I said October, November is going to end up being Confronting Evil. At least that's the idea. White Bat Audio.
Father,
We got
speaking of the weekend, how have you been enjoying Bayonetta?
I love Bayonetta. It's God. That game is God.
It's addicting.
It's really good. Like, I was only going to go sit down on Friday and play for an hour because I was going to go get started on things. And it turned into 5. Then I came out and grabbed a drink, sat down for 5 minutes, and went back in there and played for another 2.5. It turned into 7.5 hours. It took me an hour to get through the prologue. It was lengthy and action-packed, and the sets, the scene sets were like, it was just awesome. The game is God.
You and I got a compliment.
We have talked about that, Raph. We've talked about that. And I already said we'll see. I mean, this right here is actually really good. I could actually pick one out. There is a song I probably could use as being a Confronting Evil theme song from White Bat Audio. I just don't know the name of the track. It's playing right now. But I could always figure it out, let you guys know. But it's not something that would ever be in the series because there's no, like, long introduction for the series. No, like, intro theme song. The closest it gets to an intro is my little skit before it, and then, like, after the story starts, you get that little 10-second Confronting Evil bump that says Confronting Evil Season 2, which doesn't really have music behind it. It's just, like, sound effects and lightning and wind and and stuff. Yeah, it's. Listen, I could sit here and talk blue in the face about what a great series the Bayonetta games are. They are really, really underappreciated. And I know some people really love them. They are still really underappreciated. They are my favorite action games that I've played. The first one is really good. It's got its flaws. It's mostly sepia tone, so it kind of looks a little bit muddy. The difficulty is, it's pretty hard. Of course, that doesn't really bother me all that much. So the difficulty does, and the mini game in between games, Angel Attack, you grow to hate it. I hate that mini game. I wasn't fond of playing a mini game in between every chapter. Bayonetta 2 fixed everything. It got rid of the Angel Attack minigame. That's no longer a thing. It brought the difficulty down just a tad. It's still hard, but it's not like ridiculously hard. And it's gorgeous. Like, it's not sepia tone. It's very bright and colorful and crisp and clean. And there's all different kinds of weapons. They amp that up even more. But you could do that in the first game too. Equip different weapons to hands and then different weapons to your feet, and then which pulls off different kinds of attacks, which you can piece together for different kinds of combos just using 2 different buttons on the controller. Like, it's the gameplay on it is ridiculously satisfying. It's ridiculously satisfying. And I didn't think they'd be able to top the second one. The second one it's my favorite action game ever. It's amazing. And I think 3 blows it out of the water. It's good. 3's really good. I still haven't finished it. And after this, I gotta watch Halloween movies. But it's a really good game. Spoilers for season 4. Doom's awesome. Loved the first Doom. Really loved the second Doom. I'd have to say Doom 2, Hell on Earth, is probably my favorite Doom game. Doom 3 was okay. I wasn't a huge fan of Doom 3. Doom 2016, that was fucking awesome. I love that game. And Doom Eternal, it's beautiful. And there's so many references to Doom 2 Hell on Earth. And you have the Icon of Sin that you have to fight at the end. It's just freaking great. Still, the original Doom 2 Hell on Earth will still always be, my favorite Doom game, I think. Doom 64, that was pretty good. I never played all the way through it. That game's hard as hell, but it's a good game. The finale of CE is obvious, going to end with Huck. Sacrifice. I've seen the future. Oh. Got things planned. We'll say that. We got beans. There's beans.
We have the sauce. Don't we, Father?
I didn't beat them all either. I mean, I beat Doom, the first one. Funny story, I beat that on a Super Nintendo, my first time beating it. And if you know, the Super Nintendo version of Doom is like 15 frames per second. The graphics are horrendous, and there's no saves. No saving. So you have to get through Doom in one sitting. And typically, especially once you get to the hell portion, without dying. Because when you die, you go back to the beginning of the level with no guns and no ammo. And once you're in hell, that's a problem. And I beat that on a Super Nintendo. That was the first Doom game I ever beat was Doom on the Super
I
Nintendo.
beat it on the microwave.
I beat it on the microwave. You can play Doom on like anything except the Super Nintendo. Apparently, Super Nintendo struggled.
You don't get the joke.
Doom 2, I've beaten with cheat codes, ID clip, IDDQD, IDKFA. I've never actually beaten it organically. Really long game, and I didn't have access to like a computer that could really play it for the longest time. By the time I did get a chance to play Doom 2, like on a computer, like I don't know, there was other things that I could play, and I just didn't want to spend 300 hours of my life trying to plow through this game, because there are some levels in that game that are so hard. Doom 64, never owned it. I have played it. It's good. Also really difficult though. I liked the graphics of Doom 64. But on the organic console, it was a little too dark for me. It was really hard to see. Doom 2000, then there was Doom 3, which was good. I actually ended up getting the BFG edition. So it came with like Doom 1, Doom 2, and then like the side things also. I had that on the PlayStation 3. I was playing through most of it, and then I got through Doom 3. I was playing one of the add-ons, and I think I gave the game to someone and never got it back. Or I lost it in a move. One or the other. Then Doom 2016, I played the absolute ever-loving shit out of that game. I loved it. But I didn't play it until it came to the Switch. I tried to get it on my computer, and my computer couldn't run it. I had to wait until the Switch came out, and it got ported to the Switch. And then same thing with Doom Eternal. I got that on the Switch and played through that, and that was also a lot of fun. Didn't play it as much as Doom 2016, but I did play through it, and I did love it. So, yes, RIP Game Disc, of course, absolutely. But maybe again someday. Doom 2 is a good game. It's long, though. Hell on Earth is a long game. Those levels are massive and can be really freaking confusing. They're not always intuitive about what you need to do and where you need to go. Especially the later levels. Yep, he's back there over by the heater. Boomer shooters, best first-person games.
Excuse me?
Listen, I'm not a boomer. My parents were boomers.
I'm pretty sure you're Gen X.
Yeah, pretty sure I am too. Not a boomer, but I was a kid in the 90s,
I found
and
out I'm apparently Gen Alpha.
Doom was huge in the 90s.
So if you have an iPad, kid?
Oh, shut up.
I got lost on Doom 2 many times. I mean, that was like just something that happens. It's part of the game. You will be lost. You will be extremely lost and frustrated and not know where to go next. This is going to account for 75% of your playtime. Which is why eventually I ended up resorting to, using the codes. In that last enemy battle, the Icon of Sin, it's impossible. I mean, I've seen people do it, but like, that's stupid. It's so hard to pull off that shot that you need to pull off. I am a Zoomer and my parents are boomers. Boomer shooter is just a term for the 90s era. Shooter, Doom, Painkiller, Wolfenstein, Serious Sam, etc. Yeah, I know, I've heard it too. I just wanted to put it out there. I wasn't a boomer. Or I'm not a boomer. Hey Fuzzy, how are you, man? Good morning. Barely. Spoilers for season 20. Huck was Chuck all along. I appreciate it. I'm not even going to try and pronounce it because I know I'd butcher it. But hello. Happy Sunday. My costume? Well, I don't... Me? My costume for YouTube is my sociopathic costume. Oh, you mean like in the video itself? I'll be in my normal costume, but you'll see. And my costume for tomorrow night when I go trick-or-treating, I'm going as Jacob Treagle. I am actually going as someone from my books, which is kind of cool. And I believe Doughboy is going as Casper.
No, you're gonna be so warm.
So, tomorrow night, not only will there be a new Locust Lake story called The Curse Returns, but out in the world, both Casper and Jacob will be going door to door. Yes, you most certainly are, Mr. Blades. You're doing a perfect job. Yeah, the picture I posted on my community tab on my channel last night, that of Jacob holding the buzzsaw embedded into a stick, that's actually me. That's my costume. That's what I'm going as tomorrow. So, I'm pretty excited. Yeah, it's really hard to find good Jason masks, good hockey masks. The costumer around here has decent ones, but they're like $50 for a decent one. I would recommend getting a cheap one like you did. The cheapest ones are actually the best. They're kind of a little more flexible. They don't break. They're a softer plastic. You can drill holes into it, or even like use a knife and carve holes into it for like the extra holes in the mask. Paint it the whole. And again, you said it's already Halloween. I don't know how far you want to go with it. Maybe next year. But like all those hockey masks I have hanging in my intros in my game room, all those hockey masks I made. Those were cheap dollar store masks with like too many holes here, too many holes there, and then like no holes anywhere else where you actually want them. And it's completely white, and there's no markings, and it just looks like plastic. I made all those masks out of dollar store masks. Even my sociopathic pasta mask, my mask for this channel, is made out of one of those masks. And then one year, the guy who created the Creepypasta fan club, which is no longer that, it's been renamed, the kid that lived with me for like a year and a half, his name is Danny, he bought me a Friday the 13th Part 5 Roy mask with the blue markings. So that one is store-bought, but I do have another one that I made myself. But that's the one mask I have that I didn't make myself. But it's not hanging on the wall behind me in my intros. It's hanging someplace else. All the ones behind me on my intros are all masks I made myself. Yeah, I used to, there was a time there where I was going nuts. I mean, even the Jason mannequin that's standing in the corner of the game room, the hockey mask he's wearing, it's all broken off and chipped and stuff like that. I made that mask. The mask underneath it, where his one eye is closed, and then the side of it's all deformed, and his teeth are broken and yellowed, and it looks like there's bones showing through, and I did all that. It was just a cadaver mask. I sewed it and glued it and cut it in places. I added an extra large eyeball on the one side, and I sewed the eye shut on the other side, and I completely modified that cadaver mask to make it look like zombie Jason. I went out and got one of those, realistic looking fake chains. I got a zombie costume and took a piece of the chest plate off and sewed it on the back. And then I took a green jacket that I had, dark green old jacket that I had, and put it on and cut the hell out of it in places. So like it's ripped and dangling and shit, and you see the bones of the zombie costume underneath showing through, and even on the back I've got it so like there's a hole and you can see the bones in the back as well. And then I have the zombie pants. Their bones already showing through pants. I have those as pants. And then I took the gloves and did the same thing. I took black gloves and ripped the hell out of them. So that way the zombie gloves, the bones underneath are showing through the rips of the black gloves, which are all like, dangling and frayed and stuff like that. So it took a lot of time to make that particular Jason costume, the Jason mannequin costume that's standing in the back wall. I even made boots. I took work boots and 2x4. I took 2x4s, little cut pieces about a foot long, 10 inches long, same size as the boot, and stacked 2 of them under each boot to make like a long block, and then nailed them to the boot from inside the boot through the 2x4s. So it makes me a few inches taller and makes me 6 foot tall. So I can put on this entire costume, which I've gotten as close to I possibly can to making it look like I just killed Jason, cut him open, stepped inside, and zipped it up. And it makes me like 6'1" at the same time. So I am a really imposing presence in this thing with the chain dangling and swinging from my neck, and I got shoulder pads to make my shoulders a lot bigger. No, I don't talk at all. I'm always in character. I'm 6'1". I've stopped people driving by before, going out trick-or-treating, driving by in their cars. I've stopped people. They'll stop in the middle of the road just to take pictures or say hi. I've scared teenagers, 15, 16 years old.
My friend.
I love that costume. I wore it for 3 years in a row. Well, I wore it for 2 years in a row, took a year off, and then I went back to it. But that is why it is now a mannequin. It's retired. I won't ever wear that one probably ever again. I would like to make another one that I can wear, but that one is just going to end up being a mannequin forever, because I now have a Part 7 Jason mannequin standing in the corner of my game room, and I love him. It's one of my prized possessions. It took me a while to get. I think the first year wasn't even complete. It was okay. The mask needed to have different work. It was too yellow. It needed to be a little bit whiter. Under mask needed work. Really was years in the making. I mean, the first year I had that cadaver mask, I didn't do anything with it. I just went as Jason on my stilts, which was, that don't get me wrong, was still cool. I took old pair of jeans and cut the legs off, and then took the legs and sewed them to the pant legs of another pair of jeans that I had, and put them over my stilts. I got my buddies, he was 6'4". He had these size 15 feet. And I took his work boots, his old pair of work boots, and cut them so I could fit the stilt into the boot, and then tied them real tight to the stilt, and then put the pant legs down over the stilts, so that way I could just climb into these stilts and pull the pants on over top. And basically it made me look like my legs were really long, but I was an 8.5 foot tall Jason Voorhees. And I went to the bar like that. I had that cadaver mask on, and I had a hockey mask on over top of that, dressed up as Jason, 8.5 feet tall, in the bar. Pockets was there that year. I was out on the dance floor dancing. I drank the whole night, and I never took the mask off. Never once did I take the mask off, because I had cut a hole where the teeth were. Like I made a slit in between the teeth so like you could almost open the mouth. So when I pressed my beer against the mask, it just kind of like folded in and I could take a drink right through the mask. Yeah, that was great. Like, so I mean, the costume, that Jason Mannequin costume was a progressive evolution of over many, many years. Getting different parts, putting it together, tweaking those parts, getting more parts, doing more to it, until I was really satisfied to the point where, okay, I'm good. I've worn it now 3 times. I'm done. I'm not going to wear it anymore. It gets retired. So, yeah, you do get pretty warm in costume, especially with a mask that goes down not only all the way over your head, but like down onto your chest and like over your shoulders as well. Like that mask really covered up the top half of me. Like you could not tell what was underneath. It does get hot, but beauty's pain. It's something that I know is going to end up happening anyway on Halloween.
Hey, at least you'll warm on Halloween.
Mm-hmm. So,
dude, my friend, their grandma, because they were dressed up as like a clown. Stop stepping on my keyboard. They were dressed up as a clown, so their grandma wanted them to be a Halloween decoration for a couple hours. And what happened was this group of teenagers, they were all guys, walked up, they were like 16, they walked up to the things, you know, trick or treat, gave out candy, and my friend snuck up behind them and grabbed one of their shoulders, and grabbed one of the person's shoulders and let fake blood come out of their mouth. And they literally cried.
That's
like,
awesome.
They made a 16-year-old boy cry.
Cool. Yeah, I like scaring children. And the older the better. It's like a badge of honor.
Exactly.
But, yeah. Definitely got something planned for this year. I'm going to be Jacob. Wouldn't mind tweaking another Jason costume. But I've always wanted to make a different one now. Like, I don't want to do another Part 7 costume. I'd rather do a really good Part 6 costume, which I have in the past. The undermask got dry and brittle, so I can't use it anymore. But I had a great Part 6 costume. And I still have most of it. So, just need another undermask. But yeah, good stuff happening. And can't wait for Halloween. Yes, actually, so is the 2022 movie. Is also just called Scream. Scream 5 is also called Scream. So I could see how that could be confusing. And there's 5 Scream movies. Yeah, there's not. I mean, there's a few Dog Lover, but it's not like there's 12 Friday the 13th and there's 13 Halloween movies. So there's way more of those. And yeah, I want to hear about that experience too. So after Blood and Beans, you're going to have to tell me. Which, by the way, I am going to stop the stream here pretty soon. So I just wanted to let everybody know. So like in about 5 minutes or so when the stream ends, when the stream ends, nobody's taken by surprise.
We are not here when we're not on camera. We're not real things.
The TV show is not great. I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of the show. It was okay, but I didn't even watch the whole thing. That's how okay it was. It's passable, but it's not great. Bates Hotel was another not good show. I really didn't like that show at all. I know the Psycho movies very, very well. I used to watch those habitually too. The first one is fantastic. I absolutely love the original Anthony Perkins Alfred Hitchcock's Psycho. It's beautiful. It's a staple in the genre, and there's so many things that came from that movie. And it wasn't even that it was all that shocking to go back and watch. It's just a great story. I really like how it was done. The second one, also really good. A little bit of an interesting twist that I thought they'd do a little bit more with, but they completely retconned it with part 3, which was actually when they really started turning Norman Bates into like a slasher. And it was in his own way, though. It was really good. I loved the third movie. And the fourth one, like, that was with all the flashbacks and stuff, and Anthony Perkins is still playing Norman Bates, and they're like showing all these. It was good. I loved the Psycho movies. And the remake with Vince Vaughn, like, I know a lot of people don't like remakes that, like, we're just going to do the same movie, point for point, shot for shot, line for line. It's going to be the same movie as a remake. But, man, I freaking loved it. That's one of the reasons I love the Psycho remake. It is a shot for shot, scene for scene recreation of the original black and white movie brought into color in real life with new actors. But the actors have the facial tics and the mannerisms and the ad-libs, everything down perfect. And they even foreshadow part 3 in the remake with the cherub statue with the crossbow, the Cupid statue. They did such a good job with those movies. I love the Psycho movies. Yeah, I was not a fan of the TV show. It got rid of everything the movies established. Everything. Except a hotel and a kid named Norman Bates. I wasn't a fan. Nope.
I'm named
Nope.
Norman Bates. Oh, I got sunglasses.
Now, the Chucky show is really good. I do like that. That's been absolutely fantastic. Ash versus Evil Dead. That right there. That is how you do a show. Ash versus Evil Dead. Hell, Cobra Kai. That is how you do a show that has nostalgia attached to it. Where you treat it with respect and properly, but you also take it in a new direction that doesn't mess with anything. Even if you want to do something new, like with the new Hellraiser. I liked the new Hellraiser. I think they should do more Hellraisers in that universe. You can still do your own thing and be respectful to the source material. Well, listen, I'm not going to say a whole lot, Wrath, for many reasons. One of them, I'll be demonetized, and another reason is it's just not who I am. But you get what I mean when I talk about shock content. And when I start seeing that shock content in a freaking Norman Bates television show, I'm done. Nope, I'm done. I don't care if it's implied. I don't care if it was attempted. If it's long and drawn out and uncomfortable for minutes and minutes on end. No, I'm done. This doesn't need to be a thing. They're completely disrespectful to the source material. Completely disrespectful. And more than just that, like, I was trying to push through everything else and, like, ignore certain things, and then nope, I'm done. That was it for me. That's what I'm talking about, is Bates Motel TV series. And I'm not a fan. And if you like it, that's great. I'm not like poo-pooing on you, like, your experience. I'm glad that you liked it, that you're able to get the enjoyment out of it. Really, I am. I wish I could. But it's just not for me. It's listen, okay. It's not closer to the novella. Everyone is saying that it is, and I don't understand why. And I know this because last week I went back and listened to Clive Barker's The Hellbound Heart. It's a 3-hour-long narration. It's fantastic. I highly recommend you watch it or listen to it. It's very, very similar to the original Hellraiser. It does have some key differences, for sure. But the only thing in it is there's one line where the Cenobites are ambiguous in gender. And because the actress is playing a female Pinhead, who is also transgender, everyone's saying it's closer to the novella. But it's not. It's not. It's nothing like the novella at all. The first one is way closer to the novella, the original Hellraiser. It is. That's why they're saying is because that one Cenobite, because Pinhead, the Hell Priestess, the Hell Priest, is closer in description. Closer, not accurate. Still not accurate, but closer. And I guess that aspect, but like the rest of it, the box, the characters, the setting,
really,
the story, the
really
motivations of the protagonist, the motivations of the antagonist, the supporting characters, the time period. I mean, I could keep going. Nothing else is the same between the new Hellraiser and Clive Barker's Hellbound Heart. Nothing. But I liked it. I still liked the new Hellraiser. It's not my horror pick of the year. That award goes to Terrifier 2.
I love Terrifier 2.
So do I. Art the Clown for freaking president.
No, we're all gonna die. He doesn't have a bias like Michael Myers. He doesn't have a bias like Jason. Jason doesn't kill children, that's his bias. And stuff. And it's like, we're just all gonna die if he's the president.
We're not all gonna die.
We're all gonna
just
die.
might.
We're going to. We're gonna get clowned.
We're gonna
be clowning around, man. We're gonna die.
You're not gonna die. It's
Well,
gonna be
if Art
grand.
the Clown is president, then yeah, we're gonna die. I'd be kind of upset if we didn't.
Sorry, I'm trying to fix my vape. It's not working.
So he's murdering it. Is it charged?
It's charged, yeah, but the cartridge is full, but it stopped working again. So I'll mess with it later.
We're vibing. Restaurant.
That's why I keep the almost empty cartridges around. Plans for today? Yeah, we're gonna have a Halloween marathon. We're watching as many Halloween movies as we can. It's gonna be a good time.
Did you tell them about the scary movie theme song?
I did not. I can in a moment, though. You definitely should watch Hellraiser. I highly recommend you do it. It's good. I don't see anything either, but Grinch movie might be really good. So I'm just saying the new Grinch movie that's coming out, that could be really good. Violent Night could be really good. But so far, Terrifier 2, and I honestly am with you, Blades. I do seriously doubt anything's going to even come close to comparing to that movie. It's just absolutely fantastic. It's a love letter to everything that I personally love about horror. It was like they made a movie specifically for me, and it was beautiful. Yes. If you liked I would see that's my recommendation, and I say this to everybody. The first Terrifier is free on YouTube. Just type in Terrifier. The full movie is available on YouTube for free. If you're interested, watch the first one. If you like Terrifier, the first Terrifier movie, then you're going to freaking love the second one. If the first one grosses you out and isn't really your kind of thing, then you're not going to like the second one. If you also like the first one and feel you'll love the second one, I will also recommend you go back and watch All Hallows Eve, which is an anthology movie made also by Damien Leone. And the first All Hallows Eve is almost exclusively about Art the Clown. So it's basically a Terrifier prequel. So if you like Terrifier, search out both of those movies. And it's Art the Clown movies are one of the only series I've seen that has progressively just gotten better and better with every release, with every new movie. Hello, Somber. Good morning. I was like right about ready to close out the stream. So you made it for a good morning and basically a good day here pretty soon. So, hello. It's nice to see you. Welcome to joining the land of the living. Exactly. Always good to see a friend. I have hope for the Grinch movie. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, I think... Did I just close out the stream? I did.
Did I just go in full circle? I did. Did I just get murdered? I did. Got it.
I know. Hold on. Sorry about that. I had to reconnect. I accidentally closed out the stream. I was looking something up in tabs. I'm back. I'm sorry. I'll be back. So anyways, yeah. Ian Leone Christmas movie. I just really don't want to be talking. Okay. Thought I remembered something about him making a Christmas movie as well. But I guess I was mistaken. So, either way, a lot of good things coming. I also recommend Rare Exports as a Christmas movie. It is a Norwegian film, I believe. It's all in a different language. You have to read the movie. It's all in subtitles. It is so far my favorite Christmas horror film. Even beats out Krampus. I absolutely love Rare Exports. And when we have our Christmas party this year, like we're going to this year, that is one of the movies we will be watching. Will be Rare Exports. Hands down. Absolutely love that movie. Oh, Rare Exports? Yes. Yes, really. It's great. It is an absolutely very fun, feels like a very seasonal movie without being over the top, but also being over the top at the same time. It's just a great movie. Rare Exports is a great movie, and they set it up great for a freaking sequel, and there's no sequel. I want a sequel so bad. But I made Pockets watch it 1 year, and she loved it. And then the second year she watched it, and she's like, have we seen this before? And I said, yes. And I think that year she actually, like, watched it. Because, like, after that, like, she loves it, too. Like, she really likes Rare Exports. It's a movie you have to read, but it is great. And the end of the movie, dude, like, what a double twist. Like, totally pulled off the L.W. Sutton twist, which, again, if you do it right, is, you know, and it's my personal, and I'm sure someone else did it before me, I'm just obviously joking around a little, but, is to pull it off with that last line, right? It's in the last sentence. If you can, the final word should be that second twist that you never saw coming, so you can really just bam and walk away. And this movie just pulls it off perfectly. Like, there's a couple of twists in the movie, especially towards the end. There's a pretty big twist. But then the final scene in the movie, the last shot, is like, oh! And that's it. And then the movie ends. And it's perfect. Oh, I love it. No, there is no English dub. Now, granted, most of the movie, I'm sure you'll be able to understand a lot of what they're doing and what's going on just by watching the movie itself and watching the people doing their things. But yeah, no, it's a movie that you actually have to read. The whole movie is in a foreign language. And I wouldn't want it to be dubbed over in English either. And I see your point. A lot of movies I would prefer an English dub. I don't know. There's just something about Rare Exports in its original presentation of being Russian or Norwegian or whatever. It just, I don't know, feels authentic. It's like watching It's a Wonderful Life in black and white instead of watching it in color. I'd much rather watch it in color. It was or watch it in black and white. It was made for black and white. Like, color is good, but the black and white helps lend a feel to the story. Like, that's almost a character in the story. And I guess you could say the same thing about Rare Exports. That foreign language is almost a character in the story itself. Time to get out the reading glasses. If I'm not mistaken, the subtitles are not all that hard to see. They're not all that hard to read. And, I mean, I'm not a fan of subtitled movies. I'm really not, in most cases. This one is not only something I watch every year, it is my favorite horror-themed Christmas movie of all time.
I'm gonna play Escape the Cheese. Sorry.
Christmas Horror Story is great. Like that too. I actually use the theme song for that sometimes in my videos. Yeah, just because it sounds cool. And I did add an echo effect to it too, which is just, I don't know, love it. I do like that movie, Christmas Horror Story. Krampus is amazing. Silent Night, Deadly Night. Love those movies, especially the original, and the remake is actually really good. Black Christmas, that's always fun. That's a fun movie. Not the newest Black Christmas, and not the original. I actually like the 2002 remake or whatever. That's the one we watch every year. You're my family now. What other good horror Christmas movies are there? I don't think we've ever seen Santa's Sleigh, and if we have, we haven't watched it every year.
Yeah, it's when all the elves go.
Escaping the Cheese is a very scary task.
Yeah, well, that, leader, I can promise you are going to have a lot of Christmas stories on the channel this month. There is a lot of stories in the Christmas book that still have not been read. Last year, we did not do a Confronting Evil in December. There was no Christmas-themed Confronting Evil. There is in the Confronting Evil book, though, the Season 1 book. The exclusive is a Christmas story. But there is none. But this year there will be. This year there is a Christmas-themed Confronting Evil that will be narrated and released. And the Christmas special, like I said, is quite the sight to behold. I mentioned it before. I guess I'll give, I can tell you guys what it is if you want. It's like I said, it's long. It's gonna I don't know how long. I haven't narrated it yet. I don't know how many voice lines there are. I think there's a good 12 to 15 people that are going to be in this Christmas story. I don't remember last year if anyone remembers me talking after I came out with Krampus Claus 3 and Christmas Monster Squad. I said it's going to be really hard to think of a Christmas story for next year, Christmas special. And I wanted to do something like a twist on an old story, like kind of like what Doughboy was doing, like with the Candle Girl and the Christmas Train. I wanted to take an older story, a Dark Christmas Carol. I wanted to take a traditional Christmas story, and turn it on its head. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the Christmas special. So if you guys don't want those spoilers, you can, mute or something. But just wanted to put that out there, give you guys a little bit of advanced warning. So last year I said there was a couple things. I was thinking about maybe a Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer story. I was toying with that. A Grinch story. I almost wrote a horror Grinch story, and now that they're coming out with a movie, I'm really glad I didn't do that, because it would have seemed like, oh, he just did that because the movie's being made. No, I was going to do it last year. And It's a Wonderful Life. Those are the ones I had to choose from. And I ended up going with It's a Wonderful Life. It's very much an ode, a spoof, a horror spoof of It's a Wonderful Life. Like I said, it's extremely long. The story itself is over 9,000 words long. So it's definitely going to be at least an hour and a half, probably about 2. It's going to be movie length. Multiple voice actors. Pretty twisty, turny story, and I really like the ending. I don't know. I'm really excited for this Christmas special. So, I really can't wait to share that with you. And Dog Lover, I hope you do, because the Krampus Claus stories, they all do tie together. So, part 1 is very much integral to part 2, and both of those are very much important for part 3. And then there is an actual resolution to the story. So I like the way the Krampus Claus stories came out. I highly recommend you do listen to those. So, no, she has not heard the Krampus Claus 2 or 3 yet. Just the first one. Which, the first one's great. The first one is basically a holiday tradition. So, as long as you've listened to the first one, I'm cool with that. But yeah, the story's not over. Krampus Claus, very much is 2 and 3 are just very much continuations of that same story. But with all this talk about Christmas, I just want to circle back to Halloween real quick. Please remember that tomorrow is the Halloween special. Keep in mind, it's going to be it will premiere, and it's going to premiere later than usual. It's going to premiere at 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time instead of my usual Saturday premieres, which premiere typically at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Tomorrow's premiere will be at 10. That will give most people a chance to go out and do their trick-or-treating and do their Halloween things, and hopefully be able to make it home in time to stop by for the Locust Lake Halloween special. It is going to be close to 50 minutes long, so the better part of an hour. So just be prepared if you want to come, if you want to listen. That chunk of time will end up being used up. So just make sure you have it aside if you're interested. And yeah, I really hope to see you then. In about an hour and a half, Day 12 releases. Today's story is a ritual story. I do hope to see you there for that. It's not premiering or anything, but hope that you stop in for a listen. And I hope you have a great day. I did post links, free links. You don't need any subscriptions or any streaming services. There are links to every single Halloween movie that's been made in my Discord. So if you guys are looking for something to watch, you guys want to watch a Michael Myers movie, you don't know where to find it, you don't want to take the time to look for it online, I've already posted those links in the Sociopath Flicks, which is my Cineplex in my Discord. Check it out. Tons of movies in there to watch, not just Halloween movies, but I've been posting links to all kinds of things in there. So, yeah, I hope to see you then. I absolutely love you guys. I hope you have a fantastic day. Stay creepy, stay spooky, and I will hopefully see you tomorrow for the Halloween special.
Bye.
Bye-bye.